always something cooking at the Melrose Diner. That's because the Melrose is always open. It's been that way for over 65 years in South Philadelphia, grilling up tons of bacon and
scrapple.
Different parts of the pork. It's ground it up, and then we grill it on the grill both sides, and people usually drown it with ketchup.
This all-American eatery was born in 1935, the brainchild of a German immigrant who named his diner after a brand of canned tomatoes. Review after review says the name has come to represent a uniquely Philadelphia tradition. Some have been walking these aisles for over 50 years, and the icing on the cake is cake with buttercream frosting. It's a sweet treat that packs in the tourists and hometown regulars alike. If they're not leaving singing the diner's famous jingle, they're coming in to get a special taste of Philadelphia in their favorite booth or coveted place at the counter.
Take one step past 10th and Cherry Streets, and you'll know you've entered another world. It's Chinatown, the crown jewel of Philadelphia's oldest Asian community.
Chinatown is very special place in Philadelphia, but also an integral part of Philadelphia.
It all started 130 years ago with some immigrants and one Chinese laundry. Today it's a lively community with apartments, shops, and markets, boasting every Asian delicacy straight from the Chinese mainland. And of course, with over 50 restaurants, chances are you're going to leave heavier than when you came.
It doesn't cost much too, and it tastes very good.
So look for the Golden Arch, but leave your state of hamburgers at home, because these streets will take you to the other side of the world without leaving a watchful eye of old William Penn.
Take a walk through Old City, and you're in for a bumpy journey. Along the way, round rocks rise out of the ground to greet you. These cobblestones are older than most buildings in Philadelphia. Workers first laid them in the 18th century, long before brick and asphalt hit the streets. It's been said Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington walked these very alleyways. City founders got the idea from the Europeans, who had been paving their streets with colorful rocks since medieval times. The founding fathers of Philadelphia chose cobblestone over brick to replace the dirt streets because it gave horses a better footing to get around in all kinds of weather. Many of the original cobblestone streets have been replaced with recreations, but a few remain thanks to new laws designed to make sure the streets never get destroyed. That way, the feet of untold generations get to frolic back through history.
Up on North Broad Street is Freedom Theater, one of the oldest and largest African-American theater companies in America. Walter Dallas is the artistic director of the theater.
So we're not just teaching acting or dancing or singing, but we're using those media as a form of that allows us to also teach self-discipline and self-confidence, goal solving, and time management.
Its performing arts training program has about 900 students annually, ranging from ages 3 to 98. One student says the program offers a wide variety of opportunities.
Performing is my thing. I just love being on stage where it's convenient for me to come here right after school. And it just is love here where you'll be able to do anything you want to do.
Whether students are Broadway bound or just enjoy dabbling in the arts, the Freedom Theater has something for everyone.
Piece of history, a window on our past. Inside, behind closed doors, delegates fought sizzling summer heat as they constructed what would be our nation's future. Today, the doors are open to visitors here at Independence Hall, where the past is still alive. Pens still on the tables where important figures like George Washington and Ben Franklin debated, drafted, and signed the Constitution of the United States. The mall area plays host to another historic landmark. Composed mostly of copper, the Liberty Bell is the nation's oldest symbol of freedom. It was ordered by the Pennsylvania Assembly in 1751 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Pennsylvania's original Constitution. Before it was rendered unringable in 1846 due to an expanding crack, this distinguished bell once chimed an E-flat note frequently to call the Assembly together. Its most resonant tolling was for the reading of the Declaration of Independence. Now it beckons tourists to remember Philadelphia's role in history and discover their own meaning of independence. Bewildered faces peering into glass cases tell the story of a place like no other in Philadelphia. In this gallery, people pass by exhibits that are nothing to sneeze at. It's the Mutter Museum in Center City. There are few words to describe it other than
amazing.
Weird. Dr. Thomas Mutter got the idea back in 1865. He wanted a place where other doctors could see medical rarities. One eye-catching exhibit is the body of a woman who died of yellow fever. She was buried in soil-filled chemicals that turned her into soap. Today there are over 20,000 specimens. Many people filing through here don't have a medical degree at all.
It's fascinating material. Everyone is interested in their own health and the health of everybody else.
Here's what your typical doctor's office looked like in the 1800s. Take a gander at the tools they used during surgery. Ouch! And if that doesn't turn your eyes, how about the skeleton of twins joined at the chest and brain? For sure, it's an experience that'll keep you talking for hours because there's plenty here to sink your teeth into. If the walls of Old Pine Church could speak, they'd have quite a story to tell. Here in 1776, parishioners pledged to defy the British. A group of them went on to join George Washington's army for the long winter at Valley Forge. Outside the church are graves of those who fought for freedom in the Continental Army. Even William Henry is buried here. He rang the Liberty Bell, calling people to come and hear the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. This church has seen some tough days, too. During the British occupation of Philadelphia in 1777, the Redcoats used the church as a hospital and later as a stable for their horses. Then they desecrated the building, stripping the church of all its valuables and chopping up the original pews to burn for firewood in the winter. But the church and its sturdy columns endured, giving Old Pine the distinction of being the oldest Presbyterian place of worship still standing in Philadelphia. Now it's a living monument for all who come through the doors to experience the place known as the Church of the Patriots.
It's dinner time at the Victor Cafe in South Philadelphia, and on the menu,
pomodoro e basilico, ravioli nettuno,
and puccini. It started back in 1918 with Rick Tostano's grandfather, who opened a record store selling opera music. But during the Depression, not too many people could afford to buy the phonographs.
And he would allow them to just come in and listen to the new releases anyway. And if Grandmom had soup or sandwiches made, they could have, they could partake in some of that. And
that evolved into a restaurant with students from area music schools doubling as waiters. An idea so novel that even opera royalty have stopped in to see it.
To the uninitiated, this may look like a rectangular block of something that keeps getting cut into smaller, more ambiguous portions. But to generations of Philadelphians, breakfast wouldn't be the same without it.
I like the scrapple. I always did like scrapple. Ever since I was a little baby, I eat scrapple.
Scrapple has been a part of the morning meal since colonial times.
The Revolutionary War, and that's pretty much when that whole scrapple item or that scrapple product was started.
And it comes highly recommended today.
Try it. If you've never had it, I suggest you try it, and you'll love it.
Everybody from out of town comes and wants to know what's scrapple, and then I explain it to them.
Most people say it's made with pork products and spices.
The primary parts are cornmeal, buckwheat flour, and then the seasonings.
What exactly are pork products?
Leftover pork or whatever it is, put it all together and make scrapple. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.